I used to spar really hard all the time, and as a result, I only logged probably 3, 4 minutes every week sparring, and I'm going to tell you that is not enough to get good at it. If you want to get good at something, if you want to master a skill, you have to invest some serious time into it. I'm talking hundreds, thousands of hours of time into it. And if you are sparring at the level of a fight, close to 100%, you will never, ever, ever log that kind of time. You'll never get that much ring time or mat time or cage time or wherever it is you're sparring. So when we spar at my gym, a lot of people ask me, when do you start sparring with your new students? When do you let them spar? And the answer is on day one. And that surprises a lot of people because they feel like new students need to be taught this complex narrative before they can put on the gloves and hit each other. Okay, and it's not really that complex. What I do, I teach them 3 levels of sparring. 1, no contact, okay, where you come close, but we're not actually hitting each other. It's basically like shadow boxing, but with a partner. Shadow sparring, if you will. Level 2 is light contact, okay, where we are actually touching each other. We're tagging each other, but the strikes are controlled, and that's very important if you want to lag. If you want to log, that's the right word, right? If you want to log a lot of mat time, a lot of sparring time to develop that skill set, to become a good fighter, you have to go light. Most of your sparring has to be light contact, right? Now notice I didn't say 50% or 20% or even 10% or any percentage, because everybody has a vastly different idea of what that means. For example, if you take a huge 350-pound power lifter, some guy like that with just explosive, enormous strength, and put him against a 90-pound weakling and tell them, all right, guys, go 50%. Right? Now, the 90-pound weakling, if he's honest about that, you know, he's going to start pawing at the other guy, a little lighter than he normally would. And guess what? The big strong man, he's going to do the same thing, but his 50% is going to feel like 50,000% to the other guy. Because again, that's a relative term, so I will always say light contact. That is such an important distinction to learn. It's so important to learn to pull your punches in sparring too. And here's what I mean by that. Generally with a punch, at the tail end of it, if we want to add power to it, we snap it tight. We keep it fairly loose and snap it on impact. Okay? But if I got a big padded glove on me and I'm doing light sparring, instead of snapping at the end, I'm basically going to pull out, right? So my hand is going to stay loose when I feel the foam on the glove start to compress. That's where I pull the punch off. Okay? Basically letting my partner know, that could have been worse. I could have got you right there, right? I don't need to give my partners black eyes and bloody noses and broken bones and facial lacerations and things like that to learn, or for them to learn, okay? As long as they are able to appreciate, you know, okay, wow, that could have been worse. That could have been a knockout right there on the jaw, right? Right under the nose. Okay, wow. I need to start covering up there. Okay, wow, right in the temple. So you shouldn't be knocking each other out in the gym in sparring. You shouldn't be trying to do that. Okay, shouldn't even be trying to hurt the other guy, because again, you need to log hundreds, thousands of hours of sparring to get good at fighting. And it's like any other skill set. But what really separates the striking from the grappling you can go basically 100% all the time, every single day, day in and day out, without serious risk of injury. You can't do that with striking. You can't do that with boxing and Muay Thai and the striking aspect of MMA, especially with the little gloves. those 4-ounce gloves, 6-ounce gloves, those things leave a mark, right? You don't want that. So again, you have to use an extreme measure of control. Now, I'll always explain the unified rules before we spar, all right? I'll explain my expectations. Don't hit any harder than you want to get hit. Don't hit any harder than your partner wants to get hit. Okay? If you want to go harder, make sure that you both do. Okay? If you're taking hits that are rocking you and you don't like it, instead of increasing your own level of intensity to match your partner's, call a timeout. Okay? Because again, all that is going to do is give you brain damage in the long run, and you will get plenty of that in actual fights. All right? I had a Muay Thai coach, fantastic coach, guy named Chanon Sinsob. He went by the nickname Luck, and Luck was so good at fighting. He was 3-time national champion in Thailand, including Lumpini Boxing Stadium champion at one point in his career. The guy's just so good, and he's got just an unreal level of power in his kicks and precision on his strikes, and the guy is just amazing. And when I started training with him, one day he said, "Come here, let's play in the ring." I said, "Well, what do you mean play in the ring?" He's like, "Yeah, punch, kick, knee, play." And I was like, "Oh man, he wants to spar me. Oh, this is gonna hurt. This is gonna suck." And so we get in the ring, and I'm really tight, really apprehensive, not relaxed at all, because I'm expecting to get beat up by a Thai national champion. And he starts pawing at me. He's like, boom, tapping me here, boom, tapping me there, boom, tapping me there, boom, push kick right there, kicking my legs and all this. But it doesn't hurt. He's just tagging me at will. He's playing with me. And I was shocked. I was like, wait, you're not trying to knock me out? What's happening? And he's proving, I could light you up like a Christmas tree if I wanted to, but that's not my objective. I'm trying to teach you. Trying to teach you something. I'm trying to teach you Muay Thai, and you can't do that if you're knocked out. Okay, you can't learn anything if your brain's dead, right? So, man, that was such an important learning experience, and so I started adapting that sparring method. Go light, tag. Now, again, you do need to sometimes go a little harder. Sometimes you do need to emulate that fight. Now, what was different about Luck is that, in Thailand, he had been fighting professionally since the age of 5. And he had like 369 professional fights at that point. Like a lot of those Thai national champs do, just tremendous amounts of fights. Because every week or every other week, since they were a kid, they have a professional fight and they go full contact. Now, a lot of people, especially from a Western standpoint, they hear that and they're like, it's unreal, man. After one fight, I feel like, I can't get in the gym for a while. How do they do it? How do they recover from that? And the answer is quite simple. Well, one, consistent training and a good work ethic and all that good stuff. But also, in the gym, they're not trying to kill each other. They're not trying to inflict damage on their training partners. And if something I tell all my students, if you break your training partner, you don't get another one. So, going back to Luck, he's and those other Thai fighters, they fight like every week or every other week. And if you have a full contact fight every single week, you don't need to do hard sparring. You absolutely don't. Man, it's just the smartest way to train. Go light most of the time, and when you need to, once in a while. And if you are not fighting every week, like a Thai fighter, and you do want that experience, because again, if the very first time, boom, you take a full contact punch is in your first full contact fight, it's going to be a rude awakening. So you kind of do need to get hit. You do need to get beat up a little bit, but not a lot. I mean, once or twice you'll figure it out. Yeah, I don't want that to happen again. I want to prevent that as much as possible, right? So if you want to do full contact sparring, make it a very occasional thing. All right, I would recommend no more than once a week. And even that's kind of a lot. Like even, I would even say less, like once or at the most twice a month. Yeah, most of your sparring should be very, very controlled. So, spare your brain the damage, right? Spare yourself the cuts and whatnot. I don't know if you can see it in this light. Got a nice one there from a accidental headbutt in training. You don't want that stuff, right? So save your brain. Your opponents will be more than happy to introduce you to full contact fists and kicks. So yeah.